Yang's a project. Like, kind of reminds me of the Blazers also when they had Hasong Jin,
Oh, that's
like
right, the Korean
season
guy.
three.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the Korean guy. Yeah, but never really materialized. But he was huge though. But Hansen Yang, I've seen some clips of him in playing in China. It's like he's got
He's
some
pretty good.
potential.
He's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's quick off the dribble. He has
Right.
some playmaking,
Hmm.
passing skills. He's
Right.
solid moves in the post. He's
Hmm.
pretty. He looks pretty strong and pretty quick for
Right.
a 7 footer.
Yeah.
So Philippine Facebook and Twitter has really had
Uh-huh.
some field day with this pick because Hansen Yang is
Mm.
7'2". He's I think 20 years old, and
Yep.
obviously he plays in China, Asia, FIBA Asia.
Right.
Has drawn a lot of comparisons to Kai Sotto, our own Kai Sotto.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So Kai
Yeah.
was also 20 when he declared for the draft. He's also 7'2", but he went undrafted. And people
Right.
at Filipino Facebook
Mm.
is popping off, man. They're pretty
Yeah.
frustrated, asking why Hansen Yang was drafted and Kai Sotto wasn't.
Wasn't.
Let
Mm.
me tell you why. Look,
Mm.
I watch a lot of FIBA Asia. I know it's an odd time zone for you, but
Right.
I've seen a lot of games from these dudes. And here's the thing, right? While we want Kai Soto to succeed, he's essentially the best bet right now for a fully blooded
For a
Filipino to
full-blooded
make it in the
Filipino.
NBA,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
He's the best bet. He's still 23. He's still getting there. I think there's a chance for Kai to eventually end up in an NBA roster. I don't know how
Mm.
useful he's gonna be, but here's the thing. At that same age, Kai Soto was just he was just a year out of training in the U.S. So he went to the U.S.
Right.
I believe 18,
Mm.
17. He trained
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
1 year in
Uh-huh.
Georgia, and then he went to the G League Ignite team.
Right. Yeah.
So he essentially forfeited his college years.
Right.
Now, just to give you a background on that one, around that time when he decided to go to the G League to turn pro, essentially, he had two other options, at least rumored. One of them is to go to NCAA Division One. I believe it was Gonzaga
Mm.
who was recruiting him,
Right.
maybe
Right. It
even
was
Michigan. I'm
Gonzaga.
not too
Yeah.
sure. I
Uh-huh.
think he was pretty recruited
I think it
by
was
those
Gonzaga.
two
Yeah.
teams,
Mm.
right? Now, and the other one was, I believe he's also, I don't know if it was Real Madrid or Barcelona, but he was being recruited in the EuroLeague
Real
as well,
Madrid. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Now, we all know he chose the G League, and we all know what happened there. I don't know if you remember, but I'll recap it. So it was a
Mm.
COVID year,
Right.
and he ended up not playing. Really,
Yeah.
he didn't. That was the year that Jalen Green was on the team as well, and I
Right.
believe Jonathan
Mm.
Kuminga was on the team as well.
Mm.
And then he didn't end up playing, and there were rumors that uh, essentially he burned the bridge and he didn't report because he wasn't.
Mm.
He felt that he wasn't getting enough playing time.
Right.
Remember, this is America now. He
Yeah.
was he was pretty dominant in Philippine high school because, dude, he's 7 foot, man.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like a foot taller than everybody else on the
Yeah.
court. So the domination was natural, but
Right.
a lot of question marks. I don't know if you watched Kai Sotto play, Jeb, but
Mm.
there's a lot of question marks with this game at that point in time. I
Right.
remember they were training him to kind of play like Porzingis,
Oh,
but his shooting was a bit spotty. He had a very
stretch
slow
five.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to play him as a stretch five, but it
Mhm.
wasn't really working because his shooting wasn't really catching up. His
Right.
dribbling, his playmaking,
Mhm.
pretty bad, and
Yeah.
his post moves were lacking.
Mhm.
His strength, I don't know if you've seen Kai Sotto, but he's really thin.
Yeah. Mhm.
He's pretty thin. He's 7'3", and he's built like Sean Bradley, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Or like
the
even
strength
like
factor in
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even like Chet.
Chet,
That's right.
yeah.
Even like Chet, and they were
Yeah.
compared at one point in time.
Mm.
They were compared with each other at one point in time, and it's ironic that Chet eventually went to Gonzaga. Maybe
Right.
that was Kai Sotto's spot.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
because Kai Sotto turned him down, they got Chet. I'm not sure, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, Kai Sotto wasn't really ready to go pro when he did,
Mhm.
because as big as he was, there were some skills that were lacking. If you watched him
Right.
defensively, and that's his forte, right? He's
Mhm.
supposed to be blocking a lot of shots. The problem
Right.
with Kai Sotto is, so if you're guarding in the post against someone, if you're a big guy, what's the first thing you should be doing?
Yeah.
If let's say
He's
you're guarding someone in the post, you put your hands up, right? You're
hands
7 foot
up. Yeah.
tall.
Yeah.
Your wingspan is really
Hands
crazy.
up. Yeah.
You have to put
Mm-hmm.
your hands up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch Kai Sotto's games, watch clips of him playing defense. He
Mm-hmm.
always has his hands down because he's trying to aim. He's trying to
For the
time the
block.
block,
He's trying to time the block.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. So he's
Mm-hmm.
always trying to time the block at the expense of contesting shots,
Yeah.
and that's the problem with him, right? He's getting a
Mm-hmm.
lot of blocks, sure. This block rate is pretty good, but he's not. Is he really affecting your
They're
defense?
gonna be blocking every shot. You know.
You know, it's you gotta contest. You gotta make things harder. You're 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Put your hands up, and
Mhm.
you'll be a much more effective defender. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is his lateral quickness is really slow.
Yeah,
Given the
ceiling.
fact he's 7
That's
foot.
another. Yeah, that's another one. That's another thing I saw. Like, I haven't seen a lot of clips from him, but I've seen some clips like um, from like from Gilas and from his stint in Australia,
Yep.
where yeah, like you mentioned, he has his hands down. He's gonna go for the block, and he has some difficulty sealing or closing off.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's
like defenders.
technique.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
technique and really work ethic.
Mhm.
And I hate to put this on the kid, right? But you've seen him. I don't know if you watch the games where he doesn't get the. He tries to call for the ball in the post, doesn't get it,
Right.
and he pouts the all the
Yeah.
time going back down.
Mhm.
And there's everywhere he's gone, he's really just he's really put his foot down to say that, hey, you better make me happy or I'm not going to play well. That's kind of the
It's
attitude
not-
that
yeah.
he's displaying. That's
Yeah,
not the way you do it,
that's
man.
That's not gonna get you to the league.
Right? He's making
Yeah.
a good living right now playing in
Mhm.
Japan, and I think he's going to be
Right.
there for a while.
Yeah.
He's really
And-
he's gone decent there.
Yeah, you mentioned that he was in the G League, and wasn't there a time when he was in the Orlando Summer League?
Yeah, he was in the
Orlando
summer league
Magic?
as well.
Yeah.
And they
And he didn't
they
play at all.
nah, he didn't. He
almost.
didn't really
Yeah.
play at all, and he was just. It was really
Mhm.
showing that he wasn't ready,
Yeah,
and I hope
they
they
had
did.
like comments by Filipinos on Facebook, like calling for their coach's head or something like that.
That's the same thing that happened in Australia, really.
Yeah.
So, what happened there was that he wasn't getting a lot of playing time. He wasn't getting
Mhm.
a lot of touches, and they were playing a too big system in this team in Adelaide.
Mhm.
And people were calling, "Hey, fire the coach! He doesn't know how to coach." Like, bro, have you
Bro.
seen Kai play? He's not ready.
It's not ready. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not ready. There's no way if you're a coach trying to keep your job, you gonna give this guy 20 minutes a game. It's just
Yeah.
not gonna work,
No, it's not gonna work.
right? He can block shots, sure, but he's not gonna do anything
Yeah.
else, and that's the problem,
Mhm.
right? I want Kai Sotto to succeed. I want him to
Mhm.
be in the NBA one day, but he's clearly not ready. He's getting there.
Yeah,
I think
Mhm.
he's getting there with how Tim Cohn is coaching him in Gilas.
right.
He's getting
Mhm.
there, but he still, if you watch the recent games, he still has the same tendencies that he's shown when he was young. And
Yep.
I think unless he gets some better training around him,
Mhm.
I think his ceiling is probably just going to be in Asia. And
Yep.
while he could be a good Gilas center,
Mhm.
I don't know about the NBA, right?
Yep.
So, worst case scenario, you can always go back to the PBA and earn millions there, but I'm
Yeah.
sure that's not what he wants. So
Mhm.
we hope that he succeeds, right? We're
Yeah.
rooting for Kai Sotto,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
we want him to eventually reach the NBA, not just because
Mhm.
he's Filipino, but because he's talented.
Yeah.
He has the talent. He just needs the right people around him to mold him into what he's supposed to be.
Right.